Hi everyone, it's Andrea again. Today with a quick card I want to show you. Here I prepare normal cardstock with gesso and set it aside to dry. And for the top layer I use watercolor paper and use it with a distress reinker background. It works best with watercolor paper. For the bottom half I use smoked lawn, squeezed lemonade and mustard seed. Yeah. I spray it with water and then press the lower bit into the ink and let it run into each other. And while I do that, I dry it in between before I press it back into the ink again to keep the pattern on it. And I go on with that until I'm happy. I wanted to show you that because it's really quick to make a fantastic, effective background with this technique. Quite like that. So, yeah, don't waste something. Always grab a scrap paper I've laid around and pick up the leftover. So, for the upper part, I use, what do I use? Salty Ocean, peacock feathers, of course, one of my favorites, and evergreen bow. Yeah, evergreen bow is the next favorite one. It's absolutely fantastic color. I love them. Do the same actually. Press the paper in and let it run into each other. Dry it with a heat gun. And I think here I was quite happy with only one go. Yeah, I was. So I quite like to leave a bit of white space on the edges with this technique. It could be a bit busy, the background, and to have an area where the eyes can rest, I leave this edges, whiter edges. For the stems, I use this Joffy stems from Paper Artsy. I really, really like these ones. I have another set. It's absolutely fantastic. The sketchy flowers, really, really nice. I stamped them only the flowers on this gesso page I made to cut them out later. I've stamped this flower onto the background a bit too early. I wanted to stamp the background first, but it doesn't matter. I put cutouts over it later, so it's not that bad. I can stamp over it without a problem. This is a stamp from Obsession Impression, I think it calls, and it's at the moment one of my favorites for backgrounds. Really so versatile. You can do a lot with that. That's a script stamp from Stampers Anonymous, I think, yeah. And I always swipe a bit off with the baby wipe that I have. The stamping is not that precise, a bit blurred, and the next flower as well I put on that gesso paper and on that background as well. The reason why I stamp that on the gesso paper is that I will work with intense intense pencils on it, and it works always better when you gesso the page first. You can blend them better together. In my view, I prefer to use it on gesso pages. Put down the yellow first and then go over it with a water brush, and I dry it with a heat gun before I go on with the next shade, because I don't want to have them mixed together. So drying them, and the next one is, I forgot one there. And the next one is an orange shade, and I always use a tiny bit in there to give it a bit more depth. Use my water brush again and dry it. Sorry. Now for the next step there is a darker orange I use, but you get the idea. So for the petals I use light violet, but I only put it on the edges, go in with my water brush, and what I do then is I clean the brush in between and try to fade the color out. I only wanted to have it very, very tender on there. Tender, can you say that? Only a hint of violet. It's better, I think.
I really like to work.
That's what I do with all the petals.
Pencils. They are so forgiving. You know, I'm so rubbish with coloring, and these are so great. Even better on a gesso page, you know. And since I have them, it's so much easier for me to color something. Really like them. So, and I colored the stems on the card as well. Don't know why I bothered, but because of the background, you can hardly see it, but that's okay. You know, when you're in your workflow, sometimes you do things not really necessary, but you don't think about that. So even the leaves, I will glue some cutouts over it afterwards. So I have my cutouts, flowers, and I will etch them with a black pit pen. That's the big brush. Really like to do it with this cutouts. It's easier to do it than with ink and an ink foam brush. Not foam brush, with this little foams, inking foams. And I use the brush or the pit pen from the bottom that when I slip, won't ruin the front. Only a little tip. But the first one I put with normal glue down, white glue, and the second layer are first the leaves here with normal glue as well. And for the second layer on the flower, I cut these petals in half and put it on with 3D foams. And what I like to do with my 3D foams, actually they are so cheap. They are this thin 3D foams. I can't get any others. That's the only one, and that's cheap stuff. So I put some glue dots under and on top of it. I forgot the under ones, but on top of it you will see a little dot of glue to make sure that they are not coming off. That's what I have to do with my foam pads, especially with this thinner ones. The others were great. And here I cut out the middle part, don't know what you call it, and glued with a 3D pad on top as well. Just to find the right side. So with the other flower I wanted to cut the petals, but then I decided to put a full one on top, and but set it slightly, or it was slightly offset then, and it it gives me interest to it. And as well I put some glue dots on it, so here I protect the petals with some paper and put some drops on with the white Sharpie. Get a bit more of interest on that. So next thing is, I use glossy accent to get some dewdrops on the plants, first the middle a bit, but then put some dewdrops on, and you can't see it here on this video, but at the end there are some photos up and you can see it there better. So, and next thing is the sentiments coming up. I use the sentiments from Stamping Up. Really like to use that one. It's really good to cheer someone up. It works great. It says everything will be okay at the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. I really like that one. And it works great with this card. It's really for someone who has a bit of a, shitty day. So, put that on. Black the edges with my big pit pen, the big brush. And here the edges are inked with archival ink. And I really have to be careful. The glossy accent is still not dry, so I'm so good at messing stuff up like that. I'm so impatient. I can't wait to get it dry or to let it dry, and I want to get it finished. Same with this foam tape. I have to be very carefully, and I use foam tape here to get the watercolor paper properly down because it's a bit more heavy. For the inside, I write some words down I found the other day on Pinterest. Really cheerful, and what it says is right. So that goes into the inside instead of a greeting. Go on, write a bit quicker. We'll show it at the end. So then press in the layer on top or sticking it on top. And I think that's it basically, I think you had fun watching it and liked it. And thank you for stopping by and watching. And I hope I will see you next time. So, bye. See you then.